The event happened late on the afternoon of December 9th, 1965.
Stan Gordon was 16 at the time. He has been researching the incident ever since.
There were multitudes of eyewitnesses from Ontario, Canada, over Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania that observed this brilliant fireball moving across the sky. And that object, whatever it was, came in over the greater Pittsburgh area and reportedly fell in a wooded ravine very close to where we're standing outside of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
Many people saw this object making turns, making kind of a slow landing.
Leslie Kane is an investigative journalist who has written extensively on the Kecksburg incident.
Some people saw it make turns, some people saw fire coming out the back of it, and it crashed in the woods.
Was it a meteor? A fallen satellite? Air Force investigators interviewed eyewitnesses and searched the area, but they reported finding nothing. Officials concluded that the object was probably a meteor. Those who claim to be eyewitnesses told a story that sounds nothing like the official explanation of a meteor. And though government investigators scoured the purported landing site and found nothing, locals recall mysterious events on the ground. They described an object in the woods, large, metallic, and shaped like an acorn, big enough for a person to stand inside.
They're estimating from the debris around it that this thing is maybe 10 to 12 feet or more in length, approximately maybe 8 to 10 feet or so in diameter. And of course, what's interesting is that back part, what they call the ring area, the bumper area, it's raised up on the back of the acorn. Raised up on that were these unusual markings that look more like symbols and writing.
Mike Slater was 14 years old at the time. All that remains of his childhood home are the steps, where he says he had an encounter with the military.
I was sitting on the steps of my home when we heard that there was a possible landing on top of Kecksburg Hill. And as I was sitting there, I had noticed a Jeep coming into town.
Slater says the Jeep stopped right in front of his house.
And he said to me, had there been a lot of people asking for directions to where the site is? And I went, well, yes, they have been, and I've been giving them directions. Well, he said, you can do your country a great service if you would not give them directions, or if you did, just don't send them up there. So I didn't. I either said no, or I gave them wrong directions.
After that, Slater says he saw the military remove a large object.
On the flatbed was a tarped object, which was sitting more toward the front of the truck. And it wasn't going that fast. It went by me. I got a great view of it as it left town.
Some have since wondered if instead of a meteor, it was a crashed Soviet satellite that the government wanted to keep from the general public. There has never been a clear answer that satisfies everyone. So just like the Roswell incident, some are looking for physical evidence to solve the mystery decades later. In 2003, retired forestry professor Dr. Ray Hicks examined the alleged crash site.
I was given some photographs, and as I looked around, I found one of the trees that was in the photograph.
Hicks believes he identified the tree that was located in the center of the site.
That tree right there is this one. This tree right here, which was also apparently decapitated, something happened to knock the top out of it, that tree has broken down and fallen over.
He finds a few damaged trees, isolated in a narrow area in the woods.
I tried to establish what the path was that the object took through the woods, and then I found some trees that had damage to their top. In fact, the top had been broken out.
Core samples taken from the trees put an exact date on when they were damaged.
And I noticed that a very dramatic decrease in growth occurred in a given year. And it turned out that that was 1965.
Tree rings can tell a tree story, but they can't confirm a UFO story.